Amir Khalid and Lena seemed like the perfect couple living a life of luxury. But when Amir uncovered Lena's shocking secret, paradise turned into a deadly nightmare. Captain Amir Khalid was the kind of man whose life seemed to belong in a magazine. As a pilot for one of Dubai's top airlines, he commanded respect and admiration wherever he went. Every day brought new adventures, flying across continents, exploring exotic cities, and staying in luxurious hotels that most people could only dream of. Amir's life was one of comfort and prestige, surrounded by the trappings of wealth, yet he remained disciplined and focused, a man who thrived on control and order. His wife, Lena, complemented this life perfectly. She was beautiful, elegant, and effortlessly charming, with a smile that could light up the grandest of ballrooms. Together, they had purchased a sprawling villa in Bali, a sanctuary tucked away among palm trees and pristine beaches. The villa was a masterpiece of design, glass walls that opened onto infinity pools, terraces overlooking the ocean, and lavish interiors that exuded sophistication. To outsiders, their life appeared flawless. Photos on social media showed sun-drenched vacations, romantic dinners, and luxury cars parked in the villa's driveway. They were the perfect couple, living a dream most people only fantasized about. But beneath the glittering surface, cracks were beginning to show. Amir started noticing subtle signs that something was off. Lena's phone was always close to her, never left unattended. Certain topics seemed to make her uneasy, and there were moments when her laughter felt forced, her smiles slightly delayed. Amir couldn't shake a growing sense of unease, a whisper in the back of his mind telling him that the paradise they inhabited was not as perfect as it seemed. The Bali villa, with its sunlit gardens and serene ocean views, began to feel different, still beautiful, but carrying a tension that Amir could neither name nor ignore. It was a quiet, overcast afternoon when Amir stumbled upon something that would shatter the life he thought he knew. While cleaning a corner of Lena's wardrobe, he noticed a small, unmarked box tucked behind a row of designer dresses. Curiosity compelled him to open it, and what he found inside made his heart race and his mind reel. The box contained old documents, photographs, and digital storage devices that revealed a side of Lena he had never imagined. There were records of financial transactions that suggested illegal dealings, letters linking her to wealthy men across Asia and Europe, and photographs that hinted at connections to a dangerous underworld. As Amir sifted through the contents, he realized the truth was far worse than he could have feared. Lena had been involved in elaborate scams, targeting men who trusted her, and there were rumors, some supported by evidence, that a few of these men had mysteriously disappeared. Each document he uncovered painted a darker picture of her past, one filled with deception, manipulation, and secrets that had remained hidden behind her flawless exterior. Every smile, every promise, and every seemingly innocent moment suddenly felt like part of a carefully constructed facade. A wave of betrayal washed over Amir, mingled with disbelief and fear. The villa around him, once a sanctuary of luxury and tranquility, seemed to close in like a cage. The air felt heavier, the sunlight dimmer, and the distant sound of waves crashing against the Bali coast seemed almost mocking. Amir's mind raced, trying to reconcile the woman he loved with the evidence before him. The discovery forced him to confront a grim reality. The life he had admired, the trust he had placed, and the paradise he had cherished were built on lies. In that moment, Amir realized nothing would ever be the same, and the tension in the villa escalated to a suffocating, inescapable weight. In the days that followed the discovery, the tension in the Bali villa grew unbearable. Amir became hyper-aware of every movement, every glance, and every sound. Lena, seemingly unaware of the storm brewing inside him, continued her routine, but small, suspicious signs began to emerge. Her phone buzzed constantly with encrypted messages, and she often disappeared for hours without explanation. Late-night walks along the villa's manicured paths, hushed phone calls behind closed doors, and the occasional nervous glance over her shoulder made Amir's unease intensify. The woman he had trusted completely now felt like a stranger, her every action laced with mystery and hidden motives. Amir could no longer ignore the gnawing questions that haunted him. He began piecing together fragments of Lena's past, quietly observing her and tracking inconsistencies. Each new discovery pulled back the curtain on an even darker reality. Financial transfers to unknown accounts, connections to individuals with criminal records, and evidence of multiple false identities painted a picture of a life built on lies. The more he learned, the more the villa, once a sanctuary of luxury and calm, felt like a prison. Its glass walls no longer offered a view of paradise, but reflected his growing paranoia and anger. Sleep became elusive, and every day was dominated by fear and obsession. Amir's thoughts twisted and turned, imagining the worst possibilities, wondering who else might be involved, and questioning whether he had truly known the woman he married. The infinity pool, once a place of relaxation, now mirrored his turmoil, its calm surface hiding the turbulence beneath. The tension between them was palpable, an invisible storm pressing down on every corner of the villa. In this charged atmosphere, Amir realized that the villa's beauty and tranquility were a deceptive mask, concealing secrets and danger that could explode at any moment. The nights in the villa grew darker, not just because of the absence of sunlight, but because of the weight pressing down on Amir's mind. Each evening, he wandered through the luxurious halls, the polished floors echoing his restless steps. The serene gardens, the infinity pool, and the ocean view that had once brought him peace now seemed cold and unwelcoming, as if the villa itself were holding its breath, waiting for something to break. Every hidden message, every suspicious call, and every fragment of Lena's past he had uncovered gnawed at him, slowly eroding the last traces of calm he had left. On one particularly stormy night, the tension reached a breaking point. Amir sat alone in the dimly lit living room, the storm outside rattling the glass walls, when a wave of rage and betrayal consumed him. The life he had thought perfect, the love he had believed in, and the paradise he had built with her all felt like lies stitched together to trap him. In a moment of uncontrollable impulse, he confronted the overwhelming darkness within himself. The emotions that had simmered quietly for weeks, anger, fear, humiliation, and despair, exploded. What followed was swift, shocking, and irreversible. In a single, brutal act, Amir ended Lena's life inside the very villa that had symbolized their luxury and success. The opulent space, with its high ceilings, glass walls, and serene gardens, became a silent witness to a violent act that no amount of beauty could conceal. The sound of the storm outside mingled with the echo of the crime, creating a surreal, chilling atmosphere. In the immediate aftermath, Amir moved mechanically, attempting to erase traces of what had happened. But no amount of cleaning or arranging could remove the weight of his actions. The villa, once a sanctuary of wealth and love, had transformed into a prison of guilt, a haunting reminder that paradise could turn deadly in an instant. The aftermath of the crime unfolded like a nightmare Amir could no longer control. Days passed in tense silence, the villa seemingly holding its breath as if aware of the secret it contained. Amir's attempts to cover up the evidence were meticulous but ultimately futile. Forensic investigators, trained to detect even the smallest detail, began uncovering traces of the crime that Amir had overlooked. Fingerprints, digital records, and surveillance footage slowly painted a damning picture. The more Amir tried to maintain the illusion of normalcy, the faster his carefully constructed facade crumbled. Neighbors had noticed unusual activity, late-night movements, unfamiliar cars, and unexplained sounds, which had already alerted authorities. As investigators pieced together the evidence, Amir's version of events began to unravel. Every financial transaction, every encrypted message, and every hint of Lena's secret life pointed to a motive that was impossible to ignore. What had once seemed like a perfect paradise was now under intense scrutiny, the villa's luxury replaced by the harsh glare of investigation. When Amir was finally taken into custody, the shock reverberated far beyond the walls of the villa. News outlets across the world broadcast the story of a Dubai pilot who had killed his wife in a luxurious Bali retreat after discovering her dark past. The narrative of glamour and wealth that had defined their lives was shattered, replaced by headlines of betrayal, murder, and scandal. Friends, family, and the public struggled to reconcile the image of the charming, successful pilot with the man who had committed a violent, irreversible act. Lena's hidden past, once invisible behind polished smiles and Instagram posts, became a cautionary tale about deception and obsession. Amir's downfall served as a grim reminder that no matter how beautiful the surroundings, secrets have the power to destroy everything in their path. In the end, the villa that had symbolized power